Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
All right, kids, let's pull up a medicine ball or a chair or a couch or whatever you got and get comfortable, and let's talk about your fitness for a second. Obviously, you know my stance on it. I'm a big proponent of staying fit, staying healthy. It'll get you through life and in old age and a little bit better. Sure, you're gonna have some aches and pains, but you know what? It's better than having aches and pains for the wrong reasons. So the big question always comes up, well, what do I do? And that's true, there's a good question, because that's a ton of stuff out there that you can be doing and that maybe you should be doing. But nonetheless, if you want to narrow it down and try to figure out exactly what the best thing is for you, it's hard to get through the answers sometimes and finding out exactly what it is. Everybody's got their own opinion. Everybody thinks, hey, you should do this, you should do that. Yoga, Pilates, CrossFit, strength training only, run long distance. Hard to say. You have to make that decision. But when it comes down to like some things you can do, I might have a little bit of input on you. And one of the big questions that always comes up is, well, what about CrossFit? Everybody talks about CrossFit. Should I do it? Again, question only you can answer for yourself, but that's why I want to give you some of this information so that you can make a better decision. Now I get it. There's a ton of CrossFit haters out there. Always will be. There's a ton of football haters out there. There's a ton of friggin' long distance endurance running haters out there. It doesn't matter whatever sport, someone's gonna hate it just because they're petty and they're pity about themselves. They gotta feel good, so they gotta bring somebody else down with them instead of saying, hey, you know what, it's good that you're just doing something active. I've been around CrossFit since probably 2001-ish. Originally when I worked in Santa Cruz, I had a trainee named Greg Amundsen, who was one of the original CrossFit folks under Coach Greg Glassman, way back when he was on Research Park Drive in SoCal. And Greg told me, hey, let's go check out this place where I've been working out a little bit and get a load of it. And so I went over there and I thought it was the craziest thing I'd ever seen. It made sense, kind of, sort of, but it was wild. And it was just so mind-blowing. But nonetheless, it took me a couple years. It took me about another year until I actually got into working out consistently. So in about 2002, finally got into the modality itself and started really reading up on the science and the methodology behind it that Coach Glassman was writing and talking about at that time. And to say that I was blown away at his thought process and what he was postulating would be an understatement. Now, I know he's controversial. I know he said things people don't agree with. I know he's outspoken, but that's a good thing sometimes. Controversy is good. Being outspoken is good. There's nothing wrong with that. But he definitely did redefine how we look at fitness and how we can train for being a more broad type of fitness, not just strength and conditioning, which CrossFit was designed for, but a very broad and all-inclusive strength and conditioning program. And that was the concept behind CrossFit. Working at our special operations division and just going 100 miles an hour, it made sense to me to be fit in my strength and very much so in my cardiovascular and endurance capacities. And so all those modalities would come together in CrossFit, and that's what I really liked about it. I had a good understanding of anatomy and physiology. It was something I geeked out on ever since high school and through college, and I was pretty passionate about it. And so in 2008, bam, we established our gym, which was CrossFit Centurion, and we ran that gym for 14 years. So in 2022, we finally ended up selling the gym. The government flu of 2020 absolutely crushed our business. It crushed our souls. It took the energy out of us, and we tried to revive it and downsize dramatically from 11,000 square feet to like 3,000 square feet. It was just too much energy being sucked out of us, and we ended up selling it. So now we work out of a garage, which works out just fine. We have some of the equipment we used to own and kept a little bit of it. We work out of a garage. We get the same bang for the buck out of it that we used to way back then, but it's a lot easier for us to train here at the house. Do we train clients anymore? No. We do some private online coaching. We do some remote coaching. I wrote the book, obviously, the Centurion Strength Conditioning Manual, which you can buy on Amazon. It's up there in my links. But beyond that, we don't do a lot of coaching other than with friends and family. But still, I believe that this methodology has a ton of benefits. As with anything, there are going to be pros, there are going to be cons. You just have to be wise about how you're doing things and what you're doing with it. So when you look at the pros, yeah, you get a lot of bang for the buck in a short amount of time. You're not only working your strength aspect of it, but you're also working the cardiorespiratory endurance aspect of it. So you get both ends of the spectrum pretty damn well. And that's the nice part about CrossFit, is that you can cover a gamut of physical abilities and capabilities and combine them into one workout and get a lot done in that time to benefit both ends of that spectrum. The other benefit is you do have that community aspect, especially working out in a gym. When you have other like-minded folks with you and they're helping you excel and push yourself and reach your goals, it makes a huge difference. There's no doubt about it. Third aspect is you have good coaching, which is also a con we'll talk about in a second. But if you have good coaching, you can have tremendous gains and be very beneficial and stay very healthy and very uninjured, unlike what a lot of folks will say, provided your coaching is good. Coaches that have an understanding of range of motion, form, function, anatomy, physiology, biomechanics, kinesiology, all that good stuff, dietary considerations, that's the kind of stuff you want to find in a coach. Now, while there are some pros, there are definitely some cons to it. One of the things that we see that happens when people start going a little bit faster and pushing a little bit harder, form, range of motion, efficiency of the movement, it all goes out the window. And that's one of the benefits of CrossFit, is having those form, range of motion, and efficiency movements, or efficiency standards into your movements, because that's what makes you fitter, faster, stronger, and look better naked and stay healthy and functional for a much more longer period of time than going fast and getting sloppy, which is what we see. Secondly, if we don't have good coaches, you don't have any of that stuff on the front end. And good coaches are hard to find these days. Coaching standards within CrossFit, while the testing process is really good and at the higher levels of coaching, the coaches are really good, and so is the coaching. There are more coaches at the lower level that need to really work on their game before they even remotely think about opening a business. And that brings us to the problem of where the coaching sucks, sometimes the business model gets diluted too, because folks are opening businesses that should not be opening up businesses. You can charge a hell of a lot of money per month, per client at a CrossFit gym. We never went above $150 a month, but we also delivered a whole ton of stuff for our clients. I know gyms out there that are charging $150 to $200 a month that are providing dog shit for their clients. They're making them do a workout that's 100 burpees for time. What kind of coaching is involved in 100 burpees for time? Jack shit. Or they're making pull 1 rep maxes several times a year. That's a horrible idea. That's asking for injury. Or they're overloading their barbell work on a regular basis. Or they're making them do too much Olympic lifting work, and they have horrible Olympic lifting coaches or coaching backgrounds. All these things start to compound, especially when you put it in a business environment where you charge folks a ton of money, and you're spending your hard-earned money to be told, hey, good job, go faster, looking good, and you really don't look good, and you really can't go faster, or you shouldn't go faster, and the workout's just getting diluted and pissed off down the toilet. That's not what you want. And so when you go to a CrossFit gym or you're working out on your own, you have to remember, yes, you can push yourself to a limit, but you also have to feel that fine line, that 80-20 rule. There's gonna be a little 20% of slop, but 80% of that should be pretty clean and pretty consistent. And that's where we wanna work. And as a coach, that's where you want your coaches to be working you. You don't want your coach just sitting there cheering you on while they're eating a salad in the corner and charging $200 a month and then making you do a mile's worth of handstand walks. The stupidest thing in the world. It's cool to go upside down and walk on your hands, I'll give you that. Do I need it every day in life? No, I really never did that in any sort of freaking operation I was ever on in my life, period. I don't know, it's good for shoulder stability. Cool, good argument. So are a lot of other things. Fun to do once in a while? Sure. Okay, move on. Get me strong, get me conditioned, strength and conditioning. And that's the way we ran our program at our gym, and we made sure folks stayed as true as possible to form, range of motion, efficiency of movement. Those are the things you want to be looking for in your CrossFit gym. So if you're going somewhere and you're looking at what the coaches are doing, what the programming is like, you have to be thinking about that stuff. The other issue I see that happens a lot with CrossFit right now is programming is not where it should be. A lot of coaches don't have a good understanding of programming. They don't have a good template in mind when it comes down to actual strength and conditioning. Some like to combine the strength into all the metabolic conditioning workouts, which are called metcons. That has its pros, it has its cons. I like to focus on strength specifically and then conditioning after the fact, much like a strength conditioning program. And sometimes we combine them in parts of our program as the periodization template moves forward. But a lot of coaches will either negate one or they'll overdo the other, or they'll add too much Olympic lifting and it looks like crap because they don't know how to train Olympic lifting, all of the above. And those coaching courses are available for these coaches to take, but a lot of them just don't do it. So if they put the time and the effort into it, you'd have a lot better coaching in some aspects. So that's where, as a consumer, if you were to go into a gym, you just got to pay the time to really look at the coaching and look at the programming. That program is make it or break it, because too much programming in a bad way is going to break you, and not enough is not going to make you where you want to be either. So it's a very fine line, and you have to get a good feel for how much your body can handle, your age, your disabilities, your capabilities, and your limitations, and understand exactly what the concept of what the coach is trying to get at with their clients. Everybody should be able to scale according to their abilities, and there's nothing wrong with scaling. Yeah, my back doesn't like kettlebell swings anymore, so you know what? I'm probably not going to go with the RX weight. I'm probably going to tone it down a bit. Big deal. The workout is still stupid hard if I push myself to the extent that I can. Anyway, look at the programming. Take the time to really understand it and what the coach is looking for, and are they really guiding their clients down the right path for each client? Even if it's a class 20, you can still tailor things for each client. What bothers me the most about what I see with the programming these days is a lot of coaches will take their clients on the journey of like programming that is made for CrossFit Games athletes, which are the 0.001% of CrossFitters, or athletes in general. They're incredible athletes. I've done a couple CrossFit Games and qualifiers, and it's brutally hard, and you start getting weeded out very quickly, even if you're an elite athlete. So to have those capacities is amazing, but The other 99.9% of us out there don't have that capacity, and we can't train you to work at that 0.001 capacity, or we're going to break you. It'll be fun for a little while, but until you're broken, once you're broken, it's no longer fun, and that's where the bad reputation of CrossFit comes in. Shitty coaching, over-programming, not understanding what a body can tolerate and handle, or people are trained at programming levels that are way too high, that are not right for them, that are eliciting a response, but it's not gonna last forever. So, sounds like a lot of negatives, I know, but it's not. What I'm telling you is you have to be careful on those fronts. Look at what you're getting charged for, what you're getting out of it, coaching, and look at the programming. What kind of programming are you getting? Are you getting programming that you can scale and you can make personalized to some extent without changing every single workout, which is a massive pain in the ass for a coach? Changing a couple things is okay, but like, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do that, I can't do this. That's a problem. Don't be a dick. Figure it out. And then also, how intense is that programming? You can modulate the intensity, you can change it, and if the coach works with you, you can make it work. But you gotta be cognizant of what they're programming to, and if they're programming for their clients, or they're just taking some template they found off of like the latest madcap, mayhem, madness, crazy guy, CrossFit gym, games athlete programming website they found, and they're integrating it into their own gym. That's a problem. The program works really, really well though when it is followed. It builds cardiorespiratory endurance, it builds stamina, it builds strength, it builds power, it builds coordination and agility, all those 10 general physical aspects that go along with a well-conditioned, well-rounded athlete. And it makes you a lot better in basic functions of life. There's no doubt about it. But you gotta pay attention to what you're doing, how you're doing it. And if you're getting coached, you gotta pay attention to where your money's going and how well you're getting coached. Would I do CrossFit again? Absolutely, I still do it. Even though right now it's a little more diluted just because of a couple injuries I have and I'm working around. And I don't need to go that hard all the time, and I'm riding and doing jiu-jitsu more, but nonetheless, I still do CrossFit at least once or twice a week. I still follow it as much as I can. I'm still interested. I still wish we had our gym at times, and you know, I still enjoy the community aspect of it tremendously. Great program. I think the development was great. I think it redefined fitness in general and how we look at fitness and how we train, because now you can see all these pop-ups that come up around that are based on the same concepts and models. So obviously, Coach Glassman started the fire. Now folks are just setting out new ones. But you just have to pay attention to what you're doing is what it comes down to. So great fitness modality. I would recommend it. I would just recommend you pay attention to what you do and you educate yourself on the process. If you take the time and go to the CrossFit website and you read the CrossFit journals from way back in 2002, 2003, 2004, 6, 7, and 8, you're gonna find a ton of knowledge to educate yourself about sports, strength and conditioning, anatomy, physiology, exercise science, all the stuff that's really important, even as a layman to know when you go into a CrossFit gym. It gives you a much better understanding of what you're trying to gain. If you want a shortened abridged version of that, of course, I always have in my book. You guys can buy that up in the links up there. And that gives you a pretty good understanding too of what's being required, how to program, how to coach, and how to look at CrossFit in general. So anyhow, hope that helps a little bit. Hope that maybe narrows down some of the thoughts and the ideas about CrossFit. I know it sounded like it was really negative. It's not. I love CrossFit. Do it again. I would love to coach more if I could. Maybe I will again in the future. Maybe I'll own another CrossFit gym. I don't know. Probably not in the state of California, because California sucks the life out of small businesses. So screw you, California. But nonetheless, it is a great program, and I do stand behind it, provided it's done right. So I think that's it. If you got any questions or any comments or anything, shoot me a line, drop me a line. Don't make it a dumb comment. Don't be rude. Don't come at me all sideways. But if it's something legit and you want to talk about, let's talk about it. Maybe something we can even talk about on video. So other than that, be good humans, stay fit, go fast, be strong, be good, all that good stuff, and we'll talk to you soon. And remember, strong people are harder to kill. Love you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.